OG Lee, good morning. How you doing? All right. This morning, you know what I'm reading about? I'm reading about this young couple in Phoenix who the police responded to a theft call. I think that the police went way too far.
Get out the fucking car right now. Yes, get out now. Get out the fucking car. Get your hands up! I'm gonna put it down. You're gonna get shot! Get your hands up! Get out the car! Get out the car right now! Yes, get out now! Get out the car! Put your hands up! I don't give a Put your hands up! Hands up! Break your feet! When I tell you to do something, you do it! I'm sorry, I'm not fine. You're not complying with me! Yes, I am. When I tell you to do something, you do it! I am. I'm complying with everything, sir. Hey, right now, shut your mouth! Shut your mouth! Get the other cheek down. No one else is down.
Hey, hey! Whoa, sir, come down! What's going on here?
Oh, that we live here. Attacking a lady, man? Really?
Put your child down.
This was just totally overboard.
Put your hands up. I don't give a Put your hands up. Hands up.
These guys need to be fired.
You're gonna get shot.
There needs to be some kind of training
You're gonna get shot.
towards not just minorities, but people in general in terms of sensitivity.
Break your feet. When I tell you to do something, you do it. I'm sorry, I'm not fine.
I don't know if I want to keep attaching major monetary compensation to cases like this.
You're gonna get shot.
The first thing I saw was that there was a preacher who got on board, a pastor.
Thank God he wasn't whistling at a white woman. I may have a thing or two to say about it as well.
I'm sure he doesn't want any compensation. And then, of course, there were two lawyers.
Well, I, along with my partner, Tom Horne, and the law firm of Horne Slayton, we are representing this family. And
because of this physical brutality in the case where the individuals were 100% compliant all of the time with no excuse for it, is the reason that we've made a $10 million notice of claim.
we are very proud to do it.
We get asked a lot why we did a $10 million notice of claim. And the reason is because
Police brutality in the state of Arizona has to be told. This story has to be told. Our job, as we have said over and over again, is to seek justice. Our role as the attorneys are different than the role of Mr. Maupin. Wherever evil is happening in the world and totalitarian regimes develop, it's always because the world doesn't know. It wouldn't be tolerated. It wouldn't be tolerated if this had happened I believe anyway, to
As you can see, the lady, she can't even get out her mouth the fact that white people would not be treated the same in the same scenario. She can't even get it out of her mouth to where she has to refer to him as
mainstream person in our society.
the old white cat. He can't even remember her name.
Watching them being cruel to the mother of his children.
These older catty on the spot, he could have forgot. And it's harder to recall things as you get older. But I bet you he wouldn't remember her name in any case.
To the mother of his children.
But I could be wrong. But they said they were in the Family Dollar. And I've been his age with kids. Don't touch nothing. Don't put your hands on nothing. Don't put your hands on nothing. My kid has never walked out of the store with anything accidentally. There have been some times, and I was younger, when I figured that if my kid had something in his hands and he kind of just walked on out with it, nobody would see it. But it wasn't anything major. It might have been a candy or something like that, never a doll or whatever. But I could see a person either not seeing that in their kid's hands and overlooking it as their kid walked out, or I could see somebody saying, well, maybe they won't notice it as my kid walks out. Or they could have been distracted by their stealing, that they didn't see the kid with the doll. Stealing underwear and aluminum foil.
They stole underwear and tinfoil and baby dolls. They said they did.
And whether he stole underwear or not, are you kidding me right now that would justify the police brutality?
Now, I would say that they were not doing this for major profit. Here's a guy that said he does some warehouse work, and I don't think that she's working anywhere. She's got one she's holding. She's got a toddler. I would go out on a limb to say that she's not working. And underwear and aluminum foil, they probably were in there stealing that. He's in there stealing.
Not one of us were arrested. We weren't charged with anything.
He works in a warehouse. He's got 2 kids, one on the way. There's a good chance they were in there stealing. There's a good likelihood they came and they needed something. If you do a urinalysis on either one of them, and I ain't mad at them, but I guarantee you they come up positive for some drug. Probably, I would guess, marijuana, of course, which is why she's got so many babies, because they get high and they screw. That's what you do when you're young, right? The more you have sex, the more, the higher likelihood it is that you're going to have babies. But these people, as you can see, these guys said he was $10 million. He asked for a $10 million claim.
We get asked a lot why we did a $10 million notice of claim. And the reason is because
we are very proud to do it.
In some states, you're looking at 33% easily that they take. 33%.
We are very proud to do it.
Of 10 million, which they may not even get that, but let's just say they end up with 10 million. The representation is looking at 3.3 million. There's going to be so many other people who have their hands in that pot. I would like to see if they would ever disclose what the, in their case, would be the plaintiff, what they end up getting.
Here's a man who wants to be protecting his family, and he had no ability to protect them, watching them being cruel.
Because it's like, this should not be a cha-ching moment.
Our clients were compliant 100% of the time. DRAVON had his family there. He didn't want any trouble. He did everything he was told. The policeman came with a gun, yanked him out of the car, put him on the ground, his head on hot asphalt, handcuffed him too tight, yanked him up, closed the door by hitting his head against the door.
In other words, our society should not give somebody what could essentially be a life without no worries, basically, on the strength of these police, pull these pistols out on you.
Get out the fucking car right now.
This young brother was saying that he really feared for his, which I don't blame him. I would ham it up too for the fucking 10 million. I would be really upset because all the gun had to do is go off and they could have shot his girlfriend or him, right? Is that $10 million that you're supposed to be compensated? Now in American society, we're doing that. And I'm saying that that's because of who the middleman is.
That's outrageous. To be and have a gun pointed at you and the baby and be told to put that baby down on 100-degree ground, that's truly barbaric. And the video says it all. There was a video of this, and thank God there was. And now maybe everyone will start believing.
Because of this physical brutality in the case where the individuals were 100% compliant all of the time with no excuse for it, is the reason that we've made a $10 million notice of claim.
And that is the point.
Children, they took them out of the car in a headlock. They wanted her to put the baby on the ground. She wouldn't do it because she couldn't walk. And so she ended up giving it to a stranger who she trusted more than the police officer. And then she was thrown headfirst into the police car. A $10 million notice of claim. A $10 million notice of claim. A $10 million notice of claim.
That must happen. That must happen.
You want fairness? You heard the girl say,
Just justice, that's it.
And it's justice, the $10 million or the police officers being fired?
A $10 million notice of claim.
The police officers being fired.
let's see someone try to pull the money out of the conversation. You seen the
and the wholeness, the fullness of justice.
Yeah.
They want the police officers fired, but the fullness of justice.
A $10 million notice of claim.
How dare they do that? I don't think anyone in America could assemble a jury that would be okay with what we saw on that videotape.
When she started talking about, he jumped in real quick and said, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
They want the police officers fired, but the fullness of justice.
Yeah. To say that it is about the money, because he gonna try to get his hands on something, I imagine.
How dare they do that?
All he is a mouthpiece.
How dare they do that?
Good, you be a mouthpiece for the community, stand up for the community. Now you can get out of it. Let their lawyers at this point deal with it, because it's a legal matter for them now.
Well, I, along with my partner, Tom Horne, and the law firm of Horne Slayton, we are representing this family. We are very proud to do it.
They really ain't trying to be no Rosa Parks or none of that shit. Oh no, they want the money. That's all they in it for. And I don't blame them to want the money, because that's the way our system works.
So we've been aware of apologies from the mayor and from the chief. And honestly, it really hasn't done anything to help us. It's like putting some lemon juice on an open wound.
The police, they need to be fired. That right there was way overboard, and anybody should know that. Why the hell you got a pistol all on them? This was a theft, right? Ain't nobody talk about nobody have no guns blazing or, none of this. So why in the hell am I coming out like that?
Everyone knows they are not fit to be policing. Just like any other job, everyone's held accountable.
I have not heard of any Bonnie and Clyde with a baby on the hip and one that can't even walk real good, doing no capers. No one is saying this police guy shot by this lady who had a baby on her hip, right? She put the baby down and boom, came out, boom, 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 start shooting the police officer. Where's she gonna run to? She got a baby that she just put down. It's a toddler. So she ain't gonna, what the fuck? The other police gonna shoot her and the babies at that point if you fired on an officer.
Even if he stole 10 packs of underwear, it does not justify.
If he happens to shoot you, shit, he either gonna get shot or caught. His family is right there. They gonna know who did it. He ain't no getting away.
So they are hiring bad cops from other jurisdictions that have records.
Even if he was stealing, he's not gonna turn some theft situation into a situation where his whole family gets shot up. The police can de-escalate a situation very easily, or reverse, escalate it.
Get out the f***ing car right now. You're gonna get shot. Break your face. When I tell you to do something, you do.
The American people, a lot of times they'll hear about their police departments getting all of these weapons and going and getting all of these trainings and all of this stuff. And the military, sometimes when they're phasing out of inventory, they'll give it to some of the different city police departments. Black people should be asking, who are they getting that for? Who are they getting that for? We don't have, in general, a major problem with cops as we know it going into Hispanic neighborhoods all roughshod and shooting people and whatever. We don't have that problem with Hispanics. We don't have it with whites. Whenever we see or hear about any major police disturbances towards the citizens, it's with black people. If you're honest, so any time you see them getting all of these weapons and whatever, you have to ask yourself, wow, who are they getting that for? At least 10%, and I think that I'm being conservative, at least 10% of the people on that force are itching for a scratch to use that weapon.
Get out the f***ing car right now. You're gonna get shot.
I'm gonna say 10%, being conservative, of policemen are overzealous, especially when it comes to black people that they don't like anyway.
Get out the f***ing car right now. You're gonna get shot.
Here's this nigga over here. I don't care what he's doing. I'm gonna go over to him. I'm gonna take control of the situation.
Break your face. When I tell you to do something, you do it. You're not complying, but when I tell you to do something, you do it. Shut your mouth. Get out the f***ing car. You're gonna get out the f***ing car right now.
If he does not submit 100%,
Shut your mouth.
why? Man, I just wanna, I come to work today. I just wanna. So look at these Phoenix police officers, and it's New York, Boston, LA, Lincoln, Nebraska, Dallas, Texas, Little Rock, Arkansas. You just seen the police come up to a brother, executed him right in his car. And then they said he tried to drive away and blah, overzealous police officers. And you have, I'm going to say, conservatively, 10% of them come to work with a chip on their shoulder that says, hey, I'm a badass. I don't take no shit. I take control of the situation. And if I have to, I'll shoot a motherfucker. And it's usually towards black people, no matter what city it is. So here you have someone calling in on a simple theft, right? And as you can see, police come and look at the way that they act. I mean, to me, this is somebody who comes to work that says, I don't take no shit off no niggas because I don't trust them. I don't trust them to the point where I don't give a fuck if they got a baby in their hand. I do not trust these niggas.
When I tell you to put your baby.
I don't give a fuck what it is. I'm drawing my pistol until I get these motherfuckers on the ground with handcuffs on them. They sick, lame, lazy, blind, crippled, crazy. I don't give a damn if they got a baby with them, a toddler with them. I don't give a fuck if they got an 80-year-old elderly with them in a wheelchair. I'm not happy till I see that nigga on the ground and I got that handcuffs on him. Look at this police officer here. You fire them. I don't give a fuck about police unions or none of that. You start to set a precedence. Fire them for doing that shit. Because one slip and no one called in and said anybody had any weapons, that it was a stick up, none of that. They said it was a theft. I want people to pay attention to when he has the young man up against the police car. Because this, to me, is the police department personified. And this is what escalates situations. This is usually how they handle black people, especially black men. See how you put him up against the car? Now, if the guy didn't open his legs wide enough, he gonna tell the dude, spread them wider, right? Or he might even use his foot to give him the signal that he wants him to open his legs wide. Without regard and probably without a precise command, just kicks the guy's legs open. Is what escalates into physical altercations. Most people, out of a sheer defense, when their body is struck, they automatically retaliate. It just seems like it's more of a money-making type of a endeavor than somebody really seeking a justice.
violating their civil rights and terrorizing them, damaging them permanently.
Our bottom line is
a $10 million notice of claim.
our bottom line is
A $10 million notice of claim.
I may have a thing or two to
and
say
again,
about it.
our bottom line is
A $10 million notice of claim.
It might be like Rodney King. Everybody thought for sure after the video, oh, they finally got these motherfuckers. Finally. Man, when that, oh, man, that would...
this is about that video.
Just first say that this guy, he was on PCP, and say, look, his leg was just still twitching. That's why he was still such a threat, and they kept beating him. It was amazing how they played a mind game on people once they actually saw the video.
This is about that video.
So really that case set a precedence for videos being effective in one way, but also for defense attorneys to learn that there are ways that you can pick apart a video and mess with people's mind to where they didn't see what they really saw. That shit is crazy.
This is about that video.
But anyway, are going after the money. As you see, they don't necessarily know anything per se, don't even know their client's name or can't remember it or whatever.
I don't care. I don't even care what color. I don't even care what they look like.
And this is not a case that just happened yesterday, so he had time to remember his client's name. But let's just say it was because of his age. If he don't know my goddamn name, I think I might want me another attorney. I'm just saying. Either way it goes, they've got some monies coming to them. I just don't think that as a precedent we should set someone up like that. Now, if they were injured in a physical way,
It's not about the money.
sure, because they would have, medical bills and this kind of stuff that they would have to pay, throughout their lives and what have you. That's not something that you are going to be affected, physically, to where you're going to have sleepless nights for the rest of your life. No.
Damaging them permanently.
And I have young nephews that seen the video, and they were actually scared.
It's not about the money.
Now, you may remember it and not ever have a good encounter with police. I can buy that.
It traumatized my whole family.
Damaging them permanently.
It's not like you were in Vietnam, Afghanistan, or Iraq. Give me a fucking break.
It's not about the money.
Those people who went there, seen people shot up and all, they come back and get nothing.
It's not about the money.
Just justice, that's it.
And it's justice, the $10 million with the police officers being fired.
The fullness of justice.
The police officers being fired.
It's not about the money.
I want to talk about PTSD.
Damaging them permanently.
Give me a break. I say it for white people too, if they try to get $10 million for this happening.
It's not about the money. And the wholeness, the fullness of justice.
Yeah.
They want the police officers fired, but the fullness of justice. I don't think anyone in America could assemble a jury that would be okay with what we saw on that videotape.
It's not $10 million. Be fair about it. The first fair thing is get rid of them police officers. And that, to me, would really set a precedent. Don't be concerned about any police union.
It may take a strong-handed white male to come in here and tell these other white males that they're not going to treat people like that anymore.
Get rid of them motherfuckers, man, if you really want to set a precedent.
I think that saved us from all getting killed.
Especially on these egregious cases, when it's seen, open shut case, fire the police officers, and then deal with these people in an arbitration type of a committee, and pay these people and get the lawyers out of the middle of it. Because again, the lawyer don't even know your mother's name, can't even state your case, which is that white people discriminate against black people in violent ways even.
It wouldn't be tolerated. It wouldn't be tolerated if this had happened, I believe anyway, to
say it, lady. White people, huh?
To
white people, white people.
To
white people.
A mainstream person in our society.
I can't stop talking about this shit. How do you stop talking about this? But anyway, anywho, so what you think? They should get the $10 million? Should there be a lawyer involved? Should the police be fired? How much should the lawyers get? Comment below. Also, like my page. This is OG Lee. And, by the way, I want you to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button right now.